Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Captain America said you gotta be like me or you're gonna wind up dead. That's at the end of your road. Flat broke down and tired. You sleepyhead, won't you go to bed? Let me run your line. If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive, then well, will you be there holding my hand? Savior of the universe.
どんなこんな後悔だって超えてみせるんだ種明かしはいらない
Everybody come on. 我らにとって人生は我が身を5分反省してしょぼいな君食える外せば寂しげなその美貌しまるいつかまた会えるよ振り返らずに明日へ向かうよ You are my way 信じる道へ
Hey guys, we're back from the grave. Yes, we are. This is the Halloween episode. I am Flamehawk.
And as always, I am the Gentleman Snark, and introducing once again our favorite co-host.
DinoCon. Wait a minute, I'm your favorite?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how to contain my happiness.
So in this Halloween episode here, we're pretty much just going to be chillaxing and having a bit of discussion on some many horror aspects of, both comic books, anime, and just horror in general.
And entertainment in general. So
Yep.
Yeah.
buckle up. It's going to be a spooktacular ride.
Spooktacular.
Puns.
Well, we were actually just talking about this a second ago, about how Gentleman Snark, I think the villain that you would really, really like to see in a Batman movie is actually perfect for this discussion.
Yes, my main issue is, why hasn't Man-Bat been on the silver screen yet? We've seen pretty much all the other kind of low to mid-tier villains in the Batman movies, from the Joker, obviously, Scarecrow. Scarecrow over Man-Bat? Come on now. I mean, he's good, but come on, Man-Bat.
A team up with Scarecrow and Man-Bat would have been better.
Yeah, that would have worked. Instead, it was Scarecrow and who else was there?
Well, I do remember reading a rumor that there was actually going to be, it was a canned Batman film called Batman Triumphant, and it was supposed to happen, I think, after Batman and Robin, and it was going to have Scarecrow and Man-Bat, and I think that Jeff Goldblum was going to play the Scarecrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be pretty decent.
And why was that idea canned?
Because Batman and Robin was really poopy.
So blame Tim Burton, everyone.
No, Joel Schumacher.
Never mind.
Well, you can blame Tim Burton for walking away.
Yeah, that is a good point. He did kind of just, not abandon, but abandon the series.
Well, calling it right now, if Tim Burton had directed any movie involving the Riddler, the question mark would be even more spirally than it was in the original one.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
getting back to what you were saying about Man-Bat, I always thought that Man-Bat was a peculiar Batman villain, if only for the fact that I was always under the impression that Batman's villains aren't really transformative. They're not let's say, Spider-Man's villains. Spider-Man has the Lizard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there are some versions of the Rhino and Kraven the Hunter where they kind of mix up with, animal DNA.
Yep.
Although now that I think about it, there was that episode of Batman Beyond with the splicers, the people who would mix their animal DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But yet for some reason, Man-Bat was never mentioned in that episode. Because I remember I saw the episode 2 weeks ago because I was watching reruns. Well, not reruns, but I was looking for them. But I thought to myself, why isn't Man-Bat name dropped at all in this?
I feel like Man-Bat deserves a lot more limelight than he's deserving here. Because we get all these other villains here, but come on, Man-Bat would be perfect for the whole nitty gritty type of stuff. Probably it's most get back to the basics. It's more Sherlock Holmes and Frankenstein type of deal here. That's what I'm thinking here. That could be really good.
Exactly. And when you think that he's the exact opposite of Man-Bat and Batman, so like they're like on two different sides of the spectrum right there. So you got the logical side, and then you got like the kind of like the more naturalistic side. So why would they not even want to include that, like you said, in a Sherlock Holmes Frankenstein role is a surprise to me.
I was worried you were going to say two sides of the same coin, and I was thinking there's already a Batman villain for that. But I always figured that maybe a character like, wait a minute, was Man-Bat in the Arkham games?
Yes, he was in the last Arkham game.
He was?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't play it yet.
Yeah, because in the last Arkham game, I think it was Arkham Knight,
yeah,
the way they portrayed Man-Bat, he was like one of the side villains that you had to like beat in order to complete the game fully. But the way they portrayed Man-Bat was actually well done. It was a very good mission. They really played on the whole horror aspect and the whole scare tactics. Like you traverse up buildings, and all of a sudden you see Man-Bat just screaming at you, trying to claw you off a roof, and then just flies away. So
sounds spooky.
Yeah, so like if they do something like that but put it onto the silver screen, I think that could work. I think that can work.
Do you think Man-Bat will be in Gotham, the TV show?
They're having everyone else, so why not?
I mean, part of me wants to say they're gonna probably either do that or have some sort of homage, because there was that whole
Hugo Strange.
Yeah, it was the Hugo Strange, all like experimenting on all the people in, I believe, in Indianwood or whatever.
Indian Hill.
Yeah, Indian Hill. And many of them were able to had either special abilities or were able to turn to some sort of metamorphosis with an animal. I believe in one of the episodes that we watched, it also showed that when Gordon had to wrestle with one that was able to fly, I believe that was the closest we'll probably get to a Man-Bat. Because I believe, I might be wrong here, but Man-Bat really didn't come into surface until Batman came onto the scene.
That could be said about a few different characters that they have brought up to this point, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the thing is, though, because it's always been stated that whenever they showed Bruce Wayne going on his training, like he left Gotham for a while in training, they always like to say that as Bruce Wayne was training to become stronger as the Batman, Gotham got worse and worse, as if they were preparing for the new threat that was coming, which was Batman. So in a way, you could say that, yeah, those the villains they're showing now have always been there. They just, like, as Batman came onto the scene, they probably, I guess, got more villainous in a sense that Batman had to step in and whatnot.
Like more demented?
Yeah.
When you think about, like, the Joker and how he was portrayed on Gotham by Jerome, you think, although it does open a new can of worms, not that there's 3 of them, spoilers, sorry, not sorry, but there are some characters that you cannot have until the Batman is Batman, which seems to be being kind of wasted with the direction of Gotham.
I mean, honestly, that whole Joker episode, I personally was against it. Yeah, the whole Joker arc, I was actually against it for Gotham. Like, I was not for it whatsoever, because in my mind, I'm just like, the Joker did not become the Joker until Batman came onto the scene. So what they did there, I felt was kind of, I don't want to say disrespect, but kind of just, I think it was just clickbait, honestly. Some form of clickbait, honestly, to get the...
And you won't believe what happens next.
Exactly.
Where did they find Jerome? Question mark.
This supervillain didn't see this epic fail coming. And neither did the audience, apparently.
Don't you mean super fail?
Whoa.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I saw the whole entire arc as. But
well, I think that as far as scary villains are concerned with Batman, I actually think, going back to what I was mentioning earlier, I actually think that Batman Beyond had scarier villains. First of all, you had the glowy Skellebones, Blight, but then you had that one villain. It was like the Golems. And you're like, what's with these golems, these earth monsters? And it turned out it was like actually this corpse in the ground that was like near a radioactive waste or something like that was controlling the ground. And it was so gross because they had all these like close-ups on his like rotting face. And I'm like, this is not a kid's cartoon. Like, my older self is going like, this is not for a kid's cartoon. But my younger self is going like, whoa, wow, that's so gross, but it's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. A lot of villains had like very bad endings. Like I know Batman doesn't kill, but boy howdy did some of these villains just die awfully. Like that one guy who could walk through walls and then his thing broke and then he started like falling and falling.
Yeah.
All the way to center of the earth.
Oh, it's effed up. Speaking of effed up ways to kill people off, we were looking at the new movie news a while ago, and apparently there is yet another Predator movie in the works, and they're saying that this one is going to be scary, violent, R-rated, but also kind of funny.
Isn't all of them kind of the same way, though? I mean, if you
Minus
think
the
about it-
comedy.
Oh, minus the comedy, yeah.
Well, I know that Arnold Schwarzenegger had a couple of really good one-liners, like "You are one ugly mother," and but I don't know. I feel like the Predator. I can't really say the Predators are scary. Yeah, I mean, in real life they'd be really scary, but they just feel too silly. Isn't the word I would use, but like they seem very like over the top.
Yeah.
Like I feel that the xenomorphs are scarier from Alien.
Yep.
My honest opinion with the Predators is that, to go off what you're saying here, it's not that so much they're silly, just that they seem too formal. And what I mean by that is, yeah, they're kind of the villains, quote unquote, but they're like honorable in a sense. At least
Yeah.
that were portrayed. Like, they won't kill you as long as you don't hold a weapon or you hold some type of threat. They only go after worthy prey. So the only time I can really say that I guess they were a little bit scary was, I believe, in Alien vs. Predator 2, when they were in more of a city setting where many people got the misunderstanding of that the Predators were just mindlessly killing people, when in actuality they were trying to kill the aliens, people just collateral damage. In that sense, yeah, they did try to play up on a whole horror flick, but Predators in general was never really meant to be a horror thing, especially in the newer Predator movies where they get all escaped convicts, all deadly convicts, into one island or one planet, if my memory serves, and basically have to fight them all off. So in a sense, Predators are really just enemies for like a setup for an all-out battle royale or some all-out survival game, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, like might be a little bit too theatrical, but when you think about it, like you said, they are, at the end of the day, just looking for a worthy hunt. And if you just keep your head down and don't bother them, then you're good.
Essentially.
Yeah, I think that it's very excellent that you bring up the part about them being like very formal and, you know, having that level of personability to them, because then that just makes them feel like you can rationalize with them, and then suddenly they're not too scary. Like, you know, if it comes after you, you can hold your hands up and be like, "Hold on, I wasn't ready," you know, and they'll be like, yeah. But, you know, it's not something like, let's say, a zombie or a werewolf. You can't say, "Hold on, wait a minute, let me tie my shoes," you know.
And to bring that point even forward, in the first Alien vs. Predator movie, one of the humans actually did team up with one of the Predators to fight them off. So yeah, this goes back to reasoning with them is definitely possible. They're not so much scary. Violent, extremely. Strong, yes. Do you want to mess with them? Hell no. But they're not mindless killing machines, unless they're a berserker. Then run for the hills. But
Exactly.
they're not mindless killing machines, is what I want to say.
Now
Not
that-
like Jason Voorhees.
Now that we're talking about different kind of movies, how about we just say what our favorite horror movie is?
Ooh. Actually, Flamehawk, why don't you go first?
Right. Now, my favorite is, I might get a little bit of hate from this, but Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island.
That wasn't a bad movie, though.
I mean, when you think about it, like, it was such a good movie. Like, when you think, like, the Confederate zombies were the bad guys, at the end of the day, they were not. So it's like, hey, look at that. Some movie that's not painting the South as a bad thing. Now coming from the South, that's actually a nice little fresh air right there. But then again, there was, like, a lot of decent action also in there. And how can you not like Scooby-Doo when he's like a monster movie itself? Plus, the monsters were actually real this time, and that's because of voodoo. Now, voodoo, that's the scariest thing on earth. And as Ron Burgundy said, don't ever go to Haiti.
Well, that's actually pretty solid advice. My favorite horror movie would probably be Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. And the reason why this one is my favorite is because it's actually a pretty meta movie. It takes place in an alternate universe in which various slasher movie characters, like slasher films, are all real. So Freddy Krueger is real, Jason Voorhees is real, Michael Myers is real, Leatherface. They were all real people who really existed and really did the things that they did. And it's supposed to be a documentary about this new kid who lives in this one town who wants to be like the next big slasher movie guy named Leslie Vernon. I probably can give the plot away because it's fairly short, and I doubt many people have heard of this movie. But what ends up happening is the documentary crew sort of follows him around, and he's saying, "Yeah, I got this really elaborate, plan on how I'm going to get my first kill and stuff." And then it turns out that the documentary crew are going to be his first kill, and that he sort of tricked them into coming into like the area where he's going to like trap them and stuff. And so it was, and he's like trying to chase down the young reporter girl because that's the staple. So he's like, I have to like fight against like a young, like it's usually like a virgin type of girl in these movies. So it's sort of like a meta play on the whole idea of slasher movies in general. But if I had to pick a runner-up movie, probably Trick or Treat. That movie was pretty spooky.
No, now that we're doing runner-ups, mine is Hocus Pocus.
Wow. Well, again, it wasn't a bad movie, so I can't say, that's a bad choice.
Hasn't aged well, but at the time, it was good.
Well, they don't really age well. That's kind of the point of witches.
Exactly.
I don't know. I've never been a big horror buff because for two reasons. One, when I was a kid, I'd easily get too scared and never want to watch the crap again. And then as I got older and you said bump fear and then started watching those things, it got too cliche and kind of boring to me. But anyways, back to the task at hand. Now, normally you'd think I'd say Friday the 13th because Jason Voorhees is probably the reigning champ when it comes to slashers. Fight me on this.
Okay.
But in any case, and then we also have Halloween, Mike Myers, which I personally think...
Mike Myers is Shrek.
Anyways, Michael Myers. Shouts to Austin Powers. But anyways, Michael Myers is way too overrated for me, especially in the remake that they made for Halloween. He's way too, like...
OP.
Not OP, because personally, I still want to see Jason go up against Mike Myers. I think Jason could take him easily, no sweat, no debate. Once again, you people in the comments, fight me. But not Halloween. If I really had to say which horror movies I actually enjoyed, that really made me want to think, that really made me like find some sort of intrigue, would have to be Saw.
Okay.
Right. I said it. Saw.
Well, definitely. I remember when the first Saw came out, and it was sort of it was one of those movies that's like I don't think a lot of people I think a lot of people were prepared to write it off because it was like, oh, this doesn't seem like anything like that elaborate. Boy, was everyone in for it. Like, it looked like very low budget and indie, but it turned out to be like quite a hit.
I just have one question for you. Are you ready to play a game?
Shut up.
Well, that has become like iconic in of itself, like that mask, that doll thingy, like that. I feel like different horror movies like come in sort of waves. Like you have the black and white movies of like Dracula and the Wolfman.
Nosferatu.
Yeah, Nosferatu. And then you have in the then in like the 50s and the 60s, you had a lot of zombie stuff and a lot of you had like lots of sci-fi, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and stuff, and Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. And then like
I like the cereal, by the way.
Huh?
The cereal that the Creature of the Black Lagoon makes.
Wow, that's quite that was a reference.
Yep.
The black macaroons.
Yum.
But and then in like the 70s and 80s, you had a lot of slasher movies.
A lot of slashers.
And then in like the 90s, there were lots of really weird horror movies. Yeah. I noticed that like a lot of them had like what was it? Like a lot of them were supposedly like grounded in reality, like Lake Placid.
Yep.
And Anaconda. Well, they're both reptiles. And then in like the 2000s, then you had like a lot of you definitely had a lot of like more modernized horror movies like The Ring,
Haunting in Connecticut.
Haunting in Connecticut, yes. But then, like, as it got, like, closer to the end of the 2000s, we were just, like, bogged down with remake after remake after remake.
Indeed.
That goes down with, like, everything, though. Like, everything.
Yeah.
They just... I think after the writing strike, they, like, just, like, gave up on writing, and they just kind of, like, made for remake for remake for remake.
I never considered that, actually. And you know what? Now that I look back on it, it did kind of happen after the writer's strike.
While we're on this topic, though, I also got to say very quickly that my runner-up would probably, in horror movies, would probably be the Final Destination series. Only because I think it is just hilarious on how they're all trying to cheat death.
Yes. I feel like, you know, something like that, it just ends up becoming like you know how sometimes it becomes less about like how are they going to avoid death so much as like how is death going to find them? Is death eventually going to just like play its hand and just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna cheat. I'm just gonna have that random backpack over there leap into the air and just strangle you with the straps of the backpack because I'm tired of waiting or something like that. But no, that's actually very cool. So you seem to really like situational horror.
Yeah.
And you seem to really like
Bring in the comedy aspect.
Yeah, like cartoonish style horror.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess I just really like meta horror, I guess. You know what I've been getting a little tired of though? I'm getting really tired of found footage movies. Like movies where it's like this it's a scary movie but it was like recorded on a camera.
Yeah. Hate those.
Like the Blair Witch Project was the first good one. Then
the Blair Witch Project was really good.
And then it just went downhill from there after they tried to copy that, and then never really could get that thunder at one shot.
You know which one really like blew my mind? The Gallows. And I think they played it here once. It was like the one where like the kids go into like the theater or whatever because like the kid, like somebody hanged themselves. But it was all recorded on a phone. And so it's like, oh no, my friends are getting picked off one by one, but I can't bring myself to, like, I'm just imagining like one of their friends being dragged away and they're like, help, help. And they're just like holding the phone, filming them being dragged away and going, oh my God, no.
A better question I have is that if you're recording this on a phone, call 911.
Yeah.
What the hell? What?
And then that like new one, Unfriended or whatever.
Yo, I didn't even watch that. The trailer itself had me put off. What was that?
Yeah.
I got in like maybe 30 minutes and I tried to watch it. I just walked out. I'm like, nope, I'm out.
What was the Skype one? The one where they're like all on Skype?
I think that was Unfriended.
That was Unfriended.
Okay, that was the one where like the girl killed herself on camera. Okay.
And then and then it just went downhill and then I'm like, screw this movie, I'm out.
And they didn't just turn off Skype. Why? Like,
it's like that Tyler the Creator tweet where it's like, how is cyberbullying even real? Just turn off the computer. It's like, how is this computer haunted? Just turn it off.
That's kind of bad. Like when you're worse than that new like Halloween Medea movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Oh yeah. That looks like a real knee slapper. That one.
Yeah, that looks fun.
Oh boy. It was we've had a Medea Christmas. It was what were the other holidays she celebrated?
Well, October now, so Halloween.
Okay.
4th of July.
Yeah, a Medea Independence Day.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with Tyler Perry's work. I don't really care.
It's basically like once you've seen one, you've seen them all. It's like, no.
I can imagine. I can definitely imagine.
So next is Thanksgiving.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Let the stereotypes come rolling in.
Oh boy, mac and cheese for things. But no, actually, hey, mac and cheese. Any excuse to eat mac and cheese is fine by me. But back to spooky stuff. I think that one genre that's being greatly overlooked is giant monster movies.
Yes. Yep. Yes. We need some good Godzilla flicks.
Good ones.
Yes.
Not the new ones. The good one.
Well, any giant back to found footage movies. Mm-hmm. Cloverfield I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because in the grand scheme of things, if a monster is attacking the city, you don't know what the hell is going on.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
And wasn't Cloverfield Lane like a sequel or something?
Yeah, it was a sequel to that. I didn't see that, but all I know is know about it.
Oh, you know what movie is coming out that I'm really looking forward to? What's the one with James McAvoy and he's like playing that guy who has the multiple personalities? It's the new M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie.
I gave up on him after the Airbender, just to let you know.
I'm surprised it took you that long. But yeah, it looks really. It's like these girls who are kidnapped by this guy who has like 33 He's looking it up right now. It's like he's like he's got like 33 personalities or something. Split. That's what it is, because it's about split personalities. It looks really creepy.
Yikes.
Yes, we just got back from seeing the trailer for Split, starring James McAvoy and directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Shalama Ding Dong.
Yes, salami and Swiss cheese on rye bread.
That just making me hungry right there.
I already ate.
Gotta say, after seeing that trailer, it seems to be another one of those where they're using split personality, but they're doing a very fine twist to it, because it's based on what they were saying how he might reach there might be no limit to his potential. It's giving me that Lucy vibe. The movie Lucy.
Yeah. Well, there's a theory going around that he's a werewolf.
Huh.
Well, that's kind of.
Yeah, it would be.
It's kind of been hinted at based on the
trailer,
trailer and the crayons and whatnot. Though I kind of hope, I don't want him to be a werewolf, only because I think it'd be a lot more interesting if he could just be like some kind of genetic human that's like breaking his limit or genetic constraint. I feel like that'd be more interesting, because werewolves been done. Look at Twilight.
Those weren't real werewolves. They like changed like at will. That's not a real werewolf. That's like a.
If they sparkle, they're not a werewolf.
Well, they're
or
not
a vampire.
Yeah, they're not a vampire either.
Oh yeah, true.
We're talking about horror movies, and it went into Twilight. That's scary in of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, it was so bad, we're all
traumatized.
Traumatized. So in itself, it's a horror film.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, created a legion of zombies in of itself. I remember there was one Comic-Con where everyone was upset because there were so many Twilight fans there to meet the cast or something like that, and people thought it ruined that year's Comic-Con. But anyway,
surprise.
But anyway, that is like the type of movie that I really like. It's like a movie that is sort of grounded in reality, but has just a little bit of somethingness to it that it makes you go like, okay, something is off. Like another really good example is Pontypool. It's a Canadian horror movie, and it's sort of like it's like about this radio station that are reporting on some sort of like epidemic.
Wait, radio station? You're not trying to set us up right now, are
Oh no! Oh no!
You know how he likes the metas. He's gonna kill us.
you? Oh my gosh.
Well, thanks for spoiling the ending.
Cutting out Mike. Now.
No, don't touch that. In all seriousness, though, and it's sort of like 28 Days Later, where people go crazy, but the disease is spread through language. So if you say a certain word, it can like trigger other people into like going really crazy.
Okay, so it's like
Regular college
it's
life.
like regular college and what do they call that? Politically correctness.
Yeah, more or less.
Political correctness is the virus.
Oh, there's a zombie movie. Just go. But we don't want to get too political on the show.
No.
Although, Flamehawk, why don't you tell everybody what you're going to be for Halloween?
Well, I'm gonna make America dead again, and I'm gonna be a zombie Trump, because there's nothing scarier than Trump back from the dead.
You just can't kill him.
He's like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. Like he'll never go away.
No.
Isn't that Clinton? She keeps running and no one likes her,
back.
but she just keeps running.
What about you, Flamehawk? What are you gonna be?
He's gonna be a zombie Donald Trump. As for me, no idea. I'm guessing vampire. I have no idea.
Oh, cool.
Because he wants to suck.
Well,
Yeah, I bet you wish you could suck right now.
Aw.
Unsmooth criminal.
Ooh. But I'm going to be a gopnik. Gopniks are those Russian hoodlums that wear the tracksuits and they like do the squat on the sidewalks. They like squat everywhere and they just like drink vodka and like eat sunflower seeds and they listen to hard bass music.
Huh.
And I'm going to be on the stoop at my house and I'm going to tell kids like, if you want to get the candy, you must dance to music with me. And then I give you candy. And I give them the candy. I'd be like, eat Snickers, make you strong like beer.
Pretty good accent too.
Is it bear with machine gun?
Yeah, ooh. Bear cavalry.
Exactly.
Actually, I remember. I'm actually surprised that we don't get more horror movies out of Russia.
Yeah.
Because I know that the Stalker video games would make for really good movies. Be like, get out of here, Stalker!
Did they ever make a Resident Evil movie?
They did.
I
but
heard they
it's-
tried, but they never got to make it, and we will never know how good a Resident Evil movie could be.
based on the games
Yes, the video games called Resident Evil.
and nothing else.
Good thing that one Silent Hill movie was okay.
LOL.
No, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, horror video games are probably the easiest to make
Yeah.
into movies because it's basically just make a horror movie.
Yeah, the script's already there. You just gotta like bring the people together and just string them along.
Exactly.
The only problem is if they're kind of like the visual novel types where they have multiple endings and you have to pick which one is the true story. Don't go for the bad ending or the superficial
No, if
good
it's
ending.
a horror one, you always go for the bad ending.
Yeah.
Like Tokyo Ghoul.
Yes, Tokyo Ghoul. Or I remember there was like a Western adaptation of Saya no Uta. And that was like Song of Saya, as it's called. It was like a comic book adaptation. And it made a lot of people really upset because it wasn't as graphic and violent. But at the same time, I feel like that could make a really good horror movie. Like, Gentleman Snark, you're our resident anime expert. Which horror manga and or anime would you like to see adapted?
Into a movie. Let's see. Well, Tokyo Ghoul is definitely out. Shut up.
How about High School of the Dead?
Hold on, folks. I'm gonna have to hit him real quick.
All right.
Go from where
Do you even know where we left off?
I'll make it in post.
Or you know what was another kind of going to what you're saying. I know that D. Gray Man would probably look really cool if it was done in the right arts. Like, yeah, it already has an anime and stuff like that, and yeah, it's probably a very convoluted story, but it feels like the type of thing that definitely draws a lot of inspiration from the works of Tim Burton. So I think that if, let's say, he were to do maybe an animated film version of that, I think that would actually be really, really cool. Do you remember, did you ever read D. Gray Man or watch it?
I watched a few of the episodes here, but I'm not really too much of a fan of it because I personally like Blue Exorcist better, and since it delved into exorcism, I kind of just said I'll probably stick with Blue Exorcist when it comes to that, in my honest opinion.
I wouldn't mind seeing an HBO series for Uzumaki. Yeah. The one about the spirals, like the town that's like plagued with spirals and they make everything really effed up.
Mm-hmm.
Not really familiar with
Oh,
that.
it's so gross. It's by Junji Ito, who makes a lot of really effed up horror manga. Like and they're all like really, like he made that one about that mountain that has the people-shaped holes in the side. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember that.
You guys haven't seen the Enigma at Arigama Fault? Oh, it's so spooky.
Unfortunately.
It's like
Gonna have to watch that tonight.
it's only a manga, but
Okay.
it's like there's this earthquake and it exposes the side of this mountain and it has these people-shaped holes in it. And everyone's like, "What's that about?" And so all of a sudden you had a few people coming in and they claim that certain holes were made for them. Like they see it's like that hole's that hole looks just like me. And so then they go into like the hole and it's like shaped like a silhouette of their body, and so they like kind of like go into it and then they just disappear. And it's really, really oof. It's really intense.
Now, as for what type of like anime / manga I want to see turn into a horror movie here, I gotta say this straight up. First of all, for those of you who are most afraid of zombie apocalypse, bump that. For those of you out there that think Titans are the big thing on Attack on Titans, bump that.
They're the best.
No, they're not.
And they are actually technically big.
Anyways, the main
all the fanboys is Titans are the best.
See, I know one apocalypse that y'all aren't ready for. And that is one thing that I am very wary of. It's like the perspective. In a zombie apocalypse, I'd have fun. But during this apocalypse, I'd hide in my basement and probably never come out. Magical girls. Or, as the manga's called, Mahou Shoujo of the End.
Of the end?
Yes. Basically, for
this isn't Madoka.
No.
Okay.
Basically, for those of you who aren't familiar with how the series is, basically, school setting, what manga doesn't start off in a high school setting? Come on now. And all of a sudden, the entire place is massacred by a magical girl.
I am already spooked.
And the worst part of it is, it was just one magical girl that destroyed an entire school. And one lucky student managed to kill it, only to find that when he looked up in the sky, they were all falling down from the sky with that eerie taunt, magical, as they proceed to kill and wipe out part of almost the entire human race. And the worst part of it is, every time they slay a victim, the victim will come back to life, but magical girl. Therefore,
that's really weird.
Therefore, the apocalypse will only continue. Folks, for those of you who have not heard, I implore you, go check out Mahou Shoujo of the End. I promise you will not be disappointed. Yeah, it does. It is like now it's gone. Like I don't even want to spoil it because I think it's that good in my opinion.
How about you, Flamehawk? What are like some things that you would like to see? What are like some horror video games or comics that you'd like to see made into a movie?
Now, there's a lot of them, but the more horror-based movie that we already covered is I want to see a third Hellboy. I will not stop until this is made. Ron Perlman, I am with you. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, let's see Hellboy Mexico.
Yeah.
How do you say Hellboy in Spanish?
El Hellboyo. No,
He'd be a luchador.
probably, yeah.
Probably El Diablo for short. They probably
El Diablito.
Yeah, they probably call him El Diablo.
Well, Flamehawk's gonna look it up now.
Or it can be El Diablo Niño, something like that.
Oh, like in the beginning when he had like the big horns.
Yeah.
He still had his big horns. Well, I would very much like to, going on another comic that we talked about earlier, Spawn. I think Spawn would also be a very, very welcome surprise. I think because I think the reason why is because while I'm sure a lot of people put a space in between Hell and Boy, I think because a lot of people, as much as they might like to see, oh wait, we got it,
Chico Inferno.
I can roll with that. Chico Inferno. Inferno.
Inferno.
Whatever. Chico
I could
Inferno.
totally see myself naming my next car after that.
Not bad.
Yeah.
But I think that while people might be enjoying the amount of superhero movies we're getting, we're not really getting too much, and I know this is a loaded word, we're not really getting too much diversity in terms of like how we present these superheroes. Like we're basically just getting DC and Marvel superheroes all the time.
Yeah.
And even if they are different from each other, like Iron Man is different from X-Men, which is different from Doctor Strange, which is different from Batman, at the same time, I think people are really itching for like some, not so much as original characters and concepts, but just simply ones that they're not expecting. Like I don't think a lot of younger moviegoers would know who Spawn is.
Now, I think that this can basically also extend the life of superhero movies, because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's eventually going to get stale. So if you do like different takes on it, then it will definitely prolong like the the nerd reigning culture we have now.
Yeah, like we've had like what 2 Spider-Man reboots in 10 years.
Gonna be 3, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why the reboot was so necessary, but we already covered that can
Which
of
one?
worms. The one from Andrew Garfield to this new kid.
Because
But
no one liked Andrew Garfield.
yeah, we discussed this in a later podcast a while back. We're not doing this again. We're not doing this again.
Team Garfield, not so much.
Yeah.
Team McGuire, let's go.
Yeah, well, he's too old.
Yeah, he's kind of old now.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, for those 2 groups,
Oh yeah. As far as like
Maguire's
as far as franchises are concerned, yeah. Well, actually, it's interesting that you bring that up because it's funny because those movies were directed by Sam Raimi,
yep.
who directed such great hits as the Evil Dead films.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be one of the reasons why the villains were so fun is because they were kind of scary, but at the same time they were kind of like over the top. Like I think that what's his face, Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin was so great because he was almost like a Disney villain in a way. It's amazing that they waited until a while later to acquire the rights for Marvel because I definitely got this feeling from Willem Dafoe that he was like a Madame Mim type of character. Like he just shows up and he's like, "Out am I?" You know, impressive. Like he had such great lines and he had that scary mask.
You missed me.
What about my generous?
What was the other line? Back to formula.
Oh,
Back
yeah.
to formula. You know how much I sacrificed. Like Willem Dafoe is scary in of itself. Like
Yes.
you almost
Yeah.
have to wonder whether he's scarier with or without the mask on.
Which mask? His face or the real?
and of course Dr. Octopus is very much a movie monster too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way his origin story is, like the scene where he attacks the doctors
Yep.
and stuff.
He does get a redemption by the end of the movie, though.
Yeah, he does.
So in that instance, he kind of does follow the whole monster, because usually monster movies where the monster's like created by accident or some sort of accident happens, they usually have some sort of kind of redemption towards the end of it. So it really did follow that element with that.
And then, of course, in the third movie, Venom is sort of like, he reminded me a bit of a xenomorph in the way he crawled around and the way he sort of like would like scream whenever he was like really upset. He very much reminded me of the aliens from, Alien. And I know that a lot of people like rag on that movie, but I think if they had waited until like a fourth movie to have Venom in, like as was originally intended, I think it could have been really, really good.
All right. Gonna have to wrap it up soon. So before we leave, how about one quick Halloween-inspired rapid round? Favorite candy?
Oh, $100 grand.
Kit Kats,
Take 4.
Okay.
Snickers,
Candy pumpkins, not candy corn, but candy pumpkins.
I'd choose the candy corn.
Starburst.
Starburst, but the 2-packs, and you open it, and there are 2 strawberries inside.
Nice. Cheesiest horror film?
Cheesiest horror.
Child's Play, hands down. Child's Play.
I would say, actually, now that I think about it, I would probably say, Halloween Town, I think it
All right.
was.
Yeah.
The Disney original
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halloweenville, that's what it was called, right?
I think it was Halloween
I think it was
Town.
Halloween Town.
Yeah,
Okay.
Halloween Town.
All right.
Leprechaun.
That's another one.
Leprechaun 2, Back to the Hood.
Oh my
the,
god.
the space one?
Oh
I think
man.
that was the third one.
Any movie that has like a monster in space, like Jason X.
Yeah, that was one of the weakest
Oh.
movies. That was the weakest movie in my opinion.
Oh, what was the one with that tar guy, the tar monster, the zombie, the gooey zombie? Was it like Night of the Living Dead or Return of the Living Dead?
I think it was Return. I think. Can't remember.
I'm not entirely sure what this
I
is.
think it was Return. That's
Okay.
what you're talking about.
Here's another one. Best non-horror but still scary movie.
Twilight.
Ooh. This one's kind of tough. Scary but non-horror. I Am Legend.
Okay.
Alright.
I would go with Misery.
Never seen that.
It's the one about the guy who gets abducted. It's about the author who gets abducted by that creepy chubby lady who says she's that she's his biggest fan, and he does that, and she does that scene where like he breaks his ankles in order to prevent him from running away.
Never heard of
Oh,
it.
it's
Never watched
so
it.
messed up.
Yeah, I remember that.
You should
never
show it
watched
to him.
I
It's
saw that
so
one
good.
clip.
Yeah, it's so good.
Most iconic villain for a Halloween movie.
Oh my gosh, come on. That's too tough.
The Devil.
All right.
Death.
I'll go Pinhead. Why not?
Wow.
Really specific. In fact, you could
Wow.
say it was a real pinpoint decision. You
Pinpoint accuracy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So on that, I think that's all for our show.
Yes.
Have a great Halloween, guys.
Yeah.
Stay spooky, my friends.
Exactly.
Check our description for all our good stuff. And for those of you listening on the radio, please be sure to check us out on our YouTube page. And also follow us on Twitter. That's our @MeetsWest. And twitch.tv/EMW Gaming. Check us out on all of that. And if you're on YouTube, just look on the description below. We're out.